So what is up, guys? Nick here, helping you to master your technology. Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra, 2 years later. Believe it or not, this beauty is 2 years old now. So let's go ahead and pull it out here and just take a look at it for one last time. Well, not the last time. I don't know. I might trade this in for one of the newer S26 Ultras. But let's just begin by appreciating this look, because this look to me was always just a bit better than my S25 Ultra when it comes to the look of the phone. It just kind of has that iconic Samsung look. And I mean, I just can't get over it. It still looks pretty amazing here in 2026. So let's go ahead and see here what they're kind of going for right now. I just did a quick Google search and we could just kind of see what they're kind of like selling these for now. You can see somewhere around 500 to 600 bucks. And that's actually a pretty good deal, considering that's like a 50% decrease in overall value from the original retail price of this phone, while still retaining a build that actually feels better than a lot of new phones that are coming out. It's a titanium grade edges here. And while they are a little bit more pointy in the corners, this overall look is just amazing. It really is. And I'm not trying to like overglaze this device, but what I'm trying to say is that you actually, when you pick this up, it does actually feel better than some current phones that just came out. It is that nice of a product. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and talk about the build and the body of the S24 Ultra 2 years later. And I'm going to make some references to the S25 Ultra, which is going to be kind of similar to the S26 Ultra with maybe a little bit more of a comfortable design on the upcoming model. But the camera lenses, let's start there, because they have this shiny camera lens that they actually went back to on the Z Fold 7. And I think they're going to come back to it on the S26 Ultra, because a lot of people didn't like these camera rings right here. So that actually looks better than the S25 Ultra, in my honest take. Also, I don't really love that the IMEI numbers on the back of here. They kind of got rid of that on the S25 Ultra, but still says Samsung right there. But the edges of this phone, they're definitely a little bit less flat looking, a little bit more rounded, but in the corner, they're a little sharper than the S25 Ultra. So definitely a little bit less flat. They do feel a little bit rounded right there comparatively to that phone over there. But a couple years later, the body has held up extraordinarily well. If you take a look, I don't have too much issues on the build of my S24 Ultra. I did make like a couple drops, so I did have like a couple little dents in the corner. Not really dents, but like little scuffs. It's almost impossible to pick up here on camera, but it's held up incredibly well. So if you do like a durable titanium build, the S24 Ultra is going to be pretty good. You can see I did get a little bit of scuffing right there up in that right corner, but generally, the phone feels hefty. It feels like a tank in the hand. And so if you're looking to pick one of these up used now, you are going to get yourself in a fantastic feeling phone, one that feels like it costs twice as much as you might pay for it right now. So talking about the display, it essentially has nearly the same type of display as the S25 Ultra, slightly smaller at 6.8 inches, and anti-reflective coating is actually better on the S25 Ultra, but the S24 Ultra also had the anti-glare and stuff like that, but it did have that issue where when you dimmed it way down, you could see a little bit of like haze on the screen. So that kind of still exists on this phone, but it's not really a big issue. I don't see it too much. I don't really pay attention to it all that much. Generally, what I find with this phone is an incredibly sharp panel, super vivid right here, just like you expect from Samsung products, and a very useful suite of software features with One UI 8 and 8.5 coming, just to improve the overall experience day to day, especially when doing things like split screen and stuff of that sort, popping view. And then you could use you could just plug this into a portable monitor and kind of like use a DeX projection on that. So this could also be used as a little bit of like a little computer in your pocket right here with the DeX mode right there. And people say DeX has been discontinued. I'm not talking about the PC laptop. I'm just talking about when you plug this into a monitor, you can still use your apps and stuff on DeX like that. That's what I'm speaking about with this phone. It still works just fine. So before somebody says they discontinued that usage, I'm not talking about the full DeX experience. But you'll see right here, if we go ahead and pull out the S Pen, this phone also has a really good S Pen, actually better than the one on the S25 Ultra. So I still actually miss this. I love the Bluetooth features on here, and I hope they go back to it. We'll see what happens. It wouldn't even be that hard, I feel like, I'm going to go back to this. But Samsung has kind of been taking away features, which is not my favorite type of thing, especially when you're talking about the phone game. Like, we're trying to improve. We're not trying to go backwards. So this one just has a little bit more going on in the S Pen department, and that just gives it a nice value. And for those people who really like S Pen, they probably would not want to get rid of their S24 Ultra at all. I'm pretty sure a lot of people like that. Like, I'm not getting rid of my S24 Ultra. They took away the Bluetooth S Pen. Not a big fan of that. But yeah, the display overall, we were kind of like diverting off of display, but the display overall just still very vivid, very large. Bezels aren't the thinnest anymore. Phones are getting even thinner bezels, but they're still not thick. Like, come on, that's a small border. It's not the end of the world. Like, it's still a decent display here. So we can't knock it too much. There's not really much to knock. It gets extremely bright. It's flagship level, and it's 1959. It's 505 pixels per inch. So I mean, this phone looked sharp when it came out, and it's gonna look sharp in 5 years from now still. So absolute flagship beast display there. I've been happy. Also, you can go ahead and use this in the landscape mode, just like other Samsung phones. And so this actually can kind of feel like a little tablet day to day. And with its more rectangular feel, you know, it just feels like you should use it like this sometimes. It doesn't feel like a gimmick. It actually feels like a little mini TV tablet thing in your hand right here. So I definitely enjoy using the S24 Ultra a lot in landscape mode as well. Now, when it comes to the software, this phone is on Android 16 now. It launched with 14, and it's still got updates to come. It's actually got several more years of updates to come. 7 promised, so we got about 5 more on this. So if you bought this right now, you're still on a very well supported phone. Granted, I do have to state that the Samsung S24 Ultra is not going to probably get the update as fast as some of the newer Samsungs, because it's now not the latest one. So this might get it maybe a week or 2 later sometimes. So you might have to wait a little bit. But generally, it still runs essentially the same stuff. Has the same like good lock type features. It has the same Samsung Store, Galaxy features. It's kind of all here. So you don't really have to think too much about, am I going to be on some dated software with this phone? Not really. They've been updating these premium versions a lot better than some of their cheaper phones. So not really. This is actually still going to feel like a very up-to-date modern experience if you wanted to pick one up now at that 50% reduced price. This is probably going to go down even more as the S26 Ultra comes out. But if you have this, it's probably going to give you a good trade-in value as well if you want to go with the S26 Ultra. But software-wise, it's Samsung through and through with the One UI. It's been pretty nice. And for those of you who know and love the Samsung experience, it's going to be no different right here with this one. So a couple years later, I feel like when I pick this up, I'm using the same product as the S25 Ultra, just in a slightly different build. It almost feels like the exact same thing. Performance-wise, we haven't done a speed test on this in a while, but I gotta say, it still has really nice animations. It still feels extremely fast. It scrolls very quickly, and it does have 12 gigs of RAM, which was a great choice. A lot of phones, I mean, the 17 Pro Max just got 12 gigs of RAM. This already had 12 gigs of RAM. So let me know who you think was ahead. I think Samsung was ahead. UFS 4.0 on the transfer speed, so we're not messing around on transfer speeds either. Very fast. Not the fastest charging out there, but very fast transfer speeds nonetheless still on this S24 Ultra. So I have no problems with performance. I think it actually feels like you could just keep this phone for another 3 years and it'll still be fast. So this was such an iconic I think release here. It just has everything. Like, there's just really nothing about this phone to, you know, moan about. This thing definitely just does everything the way you would want it to. And moving on to the cameras, let's go ahead and move on to these. Samsung already had a 200 megapixel on this camera. Granted, they did bring the log, so if you are into the pro stuff, this is not the most pro anymore, but still, I mean, UHD 60, look at that quality. That looks amazing right there. 8K at 30, we're not messing around. You want to go to the next level, 8K, I mean, you could do it here. Most people are not going to be able to see and add true 8K video with nobody really using 8K monitors, but you get the point. Pro video, you can do that. You have dual recording modes. I mean, the list goes on. It's here, expert raw. And then on the front, let's go over here to the front. Not quite as wide as I would like, but definitely a strong contender nonetheless. Still a very nice front-facing camera. They don't have quite as many AI features as they do with the S25 Ultra, but they still do have the Galaxy AI suite. It's just not as much in the camera department as this one was. So this one is a little bit better in this area, but still mostly what you need. You still have the photo assist on here and the audio eraser, which came in a later update. So definitely it's kind of on par, but the S26 Ultra or S25, I'm already thinking the future. The S25 Ultra to me still slightly better for the AI stuff, but this is not really that behind. It got most of the features in previous updates. So this is it's just all here for the software as well. You know, it's a great pickup here right now. You're going to still feel very up to date and like you have one of the best Samsung phones ever made right here. So if there is one area that is kind of the con of this phone, it's the battery. And I don't say that to say like it doesn't last. A couple years later, I can still get through a full day with my S25 Ultra, provided I'm not on it massively, like all day heavy. The iPhone 17 Pro Max, 16 Pro Max are much longer lasting phones than this. And even like OnePlus 15, OnePlus 13, those phones last significantly longer than this. Samsung's been using this 5,000 milliamp for a while, but haven't really improved the battery greatly. The S25 Ultra has the same issue to me. It just doesn't last quite as long as the competing Android products. So S25 Ultra and S24 Ultra, these are all-day phones with medium heavy use, I think. I think really heavy use, they're not quite making it for me. But they still charge relatively quick. You can get 65% in 30 minutes via a 45-watt charger. So you are going to need 45 watts when going in here to top that battery up quick. But I find most people will still get through the day because what they'll do with the S24 Ultra is they'll plug it in to their car charger. They'll top it off before they leave, whatever, you know the drill. You're not going to be like drained to the point where the phone is dying on you. That's not going to happen. What's going to happen though is you are going to have a slight bit, if you're a heavy user, you are going to have a slight bit of battery anxiety. You're going to think like, I got to get to a charger sometimes. But for most people, I think it's fine, you know, but Samsung, they didn't really improve massively in this area, even on the S25 Ultra. So this is the area that I think is where they need to improve greatly, is the battery life. When it comes to phone calls and reception, this has been really not bad at all. It's actually been pretty nice. I haven't found any real issues with drop calls, having issues connecting onto networks, anything like that. Actually pretty impressive in this department. But I will say that it does have some of the latest things as well. Like Wi-Fi 7 is still on here. You also have 6E. And while it doesn't have Bluetooth 5.4 or 6.0, none of the newer standards of Bluetooth, it's still very quick to connect to Samsung products as well as other Bluetooth products. In addition, this does have the USB-C Type 3.2 and it's a DisplayPort as well, but having a pretty nice fast USB-C is a nice flagship touch as well on this phone. So, you know, battery and charging, maybe not the fastest, not the best, longest lasting, but they're still good enough to recommend this phone. Like it's not like a deal breaker for the S24 Ultra. It really isn't. So yeah, the S24 Ultra, using this day to day has been really quite fantastic. I mean, I really like split screen on the One UI 8. It really is rather useful when you're just kind of like using it to go ahead and split things out like this, and then maybe bringing in another application. So let's go over here and we'll swipe down. Maybe I need to set an alarm really quickly. I can go ahead and do that. It's just been fun to use. And I always feel like this phone just takes it to the next level with the S Pen support right here, the Bluetooth features as well that come with it. And so a couple years later, I got to say that if you're looking for one of these S24 Ultras, I think it's still a very, very high recommendation on my list. It's one of those phones that I think that if you're looking for a previous flagship and you're looking to get it at a price that seems like a great value now, you're actually right on the money with that. Like your thinking is, I think, pretty correct, because you can get phones now that don't have half the features this have, and they cost more. So like I'm thinking like an iPhone 17, for example. That costs like $900. And while that's the best value based iPhone yet with the features they have on it, it doesn't have a triple camera. It doesn't have a screen this large. It doesn't have an S Pen. And you can get this cheaper. And it just does way more. So like, this is a steal right now. Let's just put it that way. 2 years later, this is a steal. I covered it 1 year later last year. It was coming down already, but now it's even better steal. So that's my take on the S24 Ultra. S25 Ultra is going to become a steal as well once the S26 Ultra comes out and it's been out a little bit longer. But that phone is still pretty hefty in the price. The S24 Ultra, though, is starting to become an amazing deal. Let me know your thoughts on the S24 Ultra 2 years later. Have you had one? Are you holding on still? Are you planning to get one? Did you just pick one up? Or are you planning to trade this one soon? Anyway, found the video helpful, entertaining, informing. Do me a favor, click the like button for me. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I will catch you all in the next episode. And stay tuned because we're going to be covering all the S26 Ultra content. Actually, I'm going to probably cover most of the S26 series. It's going to be fun. I'll catch you on the next one. Nick here. Be sure to be well and peace.